Morning, everybody. It is 8:25 a.m. Had a little late start today. Had to take my daughter to her summer camp. It's August 1st, new month. Start a new month today. Yesterday, obviously, in the overnight session, was a monster move from the lows of the day before. We took 55.30 back. Bulls back in control. Yesterday, a little frustrating because, like with the 9:45 a.m. news and the 10 a.m. news, I would have typically went long when we pulled back and basically filled the gap yesterday, and then it took off from there. Then you had FOMC, which is kind of like a nothing burger. So, and now the market is up, and I'll show you where it stopped, why it was interesting, why it stopped yesterday, where it stopped. We'll get into that. Uh, Meta reported earnings after the close. Qualcomm reported. We'll get into some of that. Um, what else today? We got Amazon and Apple earnings after the close, so more monster earnings. Then tomorrow morning you got non-farm payrolls and unemployment. Okay, so big earnings. Okay, and Nvidia is just making monster moves. I mean, yesterday after hours, the day before, um, Nvidia went down to $100, and right now it's currently trading at 120. So crazy. It's insanity. Okay. So without further ado, welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use volume profile, market profile to find structure in the markets along with supply and demand, gamma exposure, the March trader price of the year, the month, the week, and the preceding day. All right. That's my edge. That's how I find my plans for the day. Okay. That's how data is constructed with market profile and volume profile on my charts, and it's just easy for me to read. It's part of my process, and that's what I use to come up with my plan, right? And then once the market opens, there's a new plan that I don't know yet, right? How the markets are moving, how the sectors are moving, what's the guts of the market doing, right? That all makes a new plan of like, okay, well, I didn't expect this, and then you got to do reanalysis, right? Analyze it again, okay? But what I do hope today is the one day 8:25 a.m. Usually it's only on Tuesdays. Usually 8:10 a.m. every day. Okay, and come join me. Have a cup of coffee with me. I go over everything. Recap yesterday. Talk about this morning. Talk about who's moving this morning and why, and who's lagging this morning and why. Okay. Talk about the story of the market. Right. We'll go over daily charts. We'll go over economic calendar, news, and then we get into the main event, which I like to call it at around 8:30. I go over the market profile, volume profile, and I come up with my scenarios, analyzing the ES and the NASDAQ futures. Okay, that's where I do my work. And I do it live with you guys. I don't pre-analyze it beforehand. I do it live. It's part of my process, regardless of one person's watching or zero or 100. That's part of my process every day. I do it with or without anybody watching, but hopefully I do have people watching. Okay, so if you do join me, hopefully you can subscribe and set an alert. That would mean a lot to me. Okay, and if you like my content, please hit that like button, smash it, do whatever you call it, do whatever you want to call it. Give me a thumbs up. All right, and you can always follow me on X at Gonzo719. Okay, now right after this, we're gonna get right into the futures watch. Let's see what's moving. You always want to see what's going on in the futures, and we're gonna do it now. So who's leading the pack? 30-year bonds. People are buying the long dated bonds today. Up 0.72. That should drive yields lower. Okay. Gold is up 0.61. You got geopolitical risks as well. Silver's up 0.63, the volatile metal. Nasdaq's up 0.59. Meta's earnings. ES up 0.54. Crude is skyrocketing with this geopolitical concerns. Okay, and it hit key levels, and it was just, I missed my entry yesterday, but that's okay. That's trading. Dollar is up 0.25, up 0.25. Now, yesterday it was declining pretty good with that yen um, going up with the Bank of Japan intervention. But let's see, the Dow's up 0.11, Russell's flat. Okay, basically flat. Bitcoin Just faking a lot of people out here going to 70K, pulling back. Oh, yeah. G-Man, I'm glad you saw that. I'm glad you saw that. Perfect, right? The new business before the old. I'm glad that you got that tip because it happened exactly, right? Thank you for that. The VIX. The VIX is down 1.47%. We're at a 16 VIX. The TNX, just like I said, it is down almost 2%. 2%. Pricing in probably the rate cuts coming in September, right? Ether down 2.22. 2.22. Okay. Now, what G-Man said in the chat about the new business, taking care of new business before old, right? That happens a lot. And if you don't have market profile, okay, that's why I love market profile. It splits out the overnight session from the real-time trading hours. And it's not like the SPY where it's all over the place with volume. It's the futures. So you got the ASIN session, the London session inside that. And that's the edge that I talk about. Okay. Now, let's move on to the Max 7 Plus. Meta, up 9%. Meta beats earnings. Okay. Nvidia is up 2.84, up to 120. Was that 100? No, unbelievable. AMD showing the data center growth, right? Even Microsoft, they're not showing profits from it, but they're showing investments in it, capex investments in it. Okay, it's driving AI again. Coinbase up 2%. Amazon up 1.88. Reports earnings today. People are trying to get ahead of it. Okay. Apple up 1%. They report after the close today. Okay. Broadcom semi up 0.47. Okay. Let's see what else. The only little lagger is Tesla. That's it. And it's not that much. Down 0.25. Okay. Moving on to top sector stocks. Eli Lilly has pulled back. You look at the daily chart of Eli Lilly, had a monster run, very poor structure going up. That got cleaned out. Now, they just said I believe their Ozempic trial had a 38% reduction in heart issues or something like that. I have the news on that. So, Uber, I told you, came back to a key level the other day. That is up 0.36. So it's kind of quiet over on this end. Okay. Who's the laggards here? Interesting that Chevron is a laggard, down 0.60. Qualcomm beat earnings. It was down more than that. It initially went up, I believe, into the 190s, right? And then it dipped down like a decent amount. Now it's kind of evening out. They beat earnings. I mean, I didn't see. I have to look at exactly what they said that would make it go down a little bit, but we'll get into that. All right, now let's look at the swing trades. Swing trades list. Okay. Woo! Shake Shack. My lord. Shake Shack. They must have reported earnings, I'm assuming. Yes, they did. All right. Shake Shack up 15.27%. Carvana's up 11.84. Reddit's up 5.26. Roblox up 4.79. Bosch Health up 2.82. Aflac up 2.34. Supermicro Computers up 1.79. Vertiv. Remember, I took a little nibble on that. I took a little nibble. I'm liking that. That's what the data center build outs. Okay. Arista up 1.57. CrowdStrike, that's getting beaten down, up 1.46. I'm still waiting on that because there's probably more lawsuits to follow like Delta. Robinhood up 1.36. Roku up 1.36. Carnival Cruise Lines up 1.26. DraftKings up 1.22. So you got a lot of movers here. Mara's up 1%. Twilio's up 1%. Trade Desk, Block, and that's it. Let's go to laggards. W, I believe, is Wayfair. They reported earnings, I believe. Okay, they didn't have good earnings here. Something in there they didn't like. All right. Now ARMS, a semi, and they are down 9.67%. I forget what they said. That was negative. Hershey down 5.31%. Western Digital reported earnings. They are down 4.71. I saw they beat, but there must be something in there that's not good. Crocs down 4.61%. I think this is Becton Dixon down 4.49. MGM down 3.19. Hess down 2.88. Herbalife down 2.77. What is this? Lara. This is a semi down 2.41. Williams Sonoma down 1.25. And Applied Materials is a semi down 1%. 1%. Okay, that is your laggards. All right, moving on to the sectors. Moving on to the sectors. This is the guts. This is the guts, okay? Communications leading the pack up 148. That's your meta. Okay? Technology. I would consider that the heart of everyone's body. Okay? It's the most heavily weighted sector in the S&P 500 is up 0.42. Discretionary, that's your Amazon, your Tesla, your Home Depot, that's up 0.32. Real estate's getting some love. Financials up 0.16. Okay? Semis are kind of flat. Now you saw it's kind of a mixed bag there. Now, there is no laggard. There's no laggard today. Okay, no laggard. Now, utilities, specifically, I'm a proud owner of the NextEra Energy. Okay, and they're having a nice run. If you look at NextEra Energy, why is that? Right? Because when yields rose, these are dividend beasts, right? When yields rose, people sold utility stocks. Okay, now they're pricing in rate cuts. Yields are going to go lower. Now that they were bought. NextEra Energy utilities got slammed. Now people are buying them, right? You want to get in them again because if yields go lower, you want the dividends from them, okay? Now we're going to get into some economic news, calendar, earnings, all that, all right? Let's do that. Go right to the economic calendar. G-Man, if you're there, how are you seeing what I said? Are you looking at futures? Just curious. Answer whenever you want if you're there. That makes me happy that tip. ES. Okay, cool. I'm glad someone's listening. Someone's seeing the golden nuggets, right? Let's get into the calendar today. Today, 8:30, initial jobless claims. We are expecting 236. And it came out already because I'm messed up. I usually go 8:10 a.m. So this is bullish. More initial jobless claims than expected. That is bullish. That's employment softening. That is bullish. That's just more for the Fed to cut. All right. Let's look at today. We have I hate these when they're 9:45 and 10 a.m. just like yesterday. Freaking screwed my long. 9:45 a.m. today, S&P Global Manufacturing PMI, then ISM Manufacturing at 10. These will move markets. Yesterday, the freaking news didn't move it, even though and you can't do it because if I told you I took a trade and I got whipped out, I would be pissed. So I just annoying that it's set up when those newses were dropping. But today, these should spike. So if there's nothing from 9:35 that I see, I'm probably just gonna wait to 10:05, 10:10. Okay, because you got a slew of this. Let me do this. You got a lot of this. So this is the important ones. Okay. Tomorrow, non-farm payrolls. All right, let's look at some news. Meta, we know beat, right? ARM, here we go. Stock fell 9.6 after the chip designer offered a conservative revenue forecast, sparking worries that returns from a spending frenzy on AI computing would be relatively slow to materialize. Okay. Moderna stock slumped 11%. ConocoPhillips rose 0.8. Let's see here. Spirit Airlines stock fell 3.3. That's what I wanted to go there. Now let's go over to here. Uh, Meta. Now here's Qualcomm. Okay, chipmaker Qualcomm forecasts upbeat revenue, warns of trade curb impact. That's why it had a little negative connotation to it. Okay. Now Lilly. Why is Lilly up? Lilly says weight loss drug cut heart failure risk by 38% in trial. Lilly is up 3.82%. Look at the chart. Okay. Look at the chart. Now, I'm going to go over this very quickly because if I don't see anything that's going to be shocking that I don't even know, we don't talk about it. Right? There's a lot of news here. Only on something I don't know. Here we go. Western Digital, right? That's actually something I'm kind of interested in. Hard drives. So the company forecasts first quarter revenue below Wall Street estimates on Wednesday, signaling a slower than expected recovery in the company's data storage products. The data storage products maker expects first quarter revenue. Okay, so I guess it missed a little bit. I thought it didn't when I read it. All right, Chevron. Here we go. Why is that down? Chevron's core proposed purchase of oil producer Hess. Okay, so they're going to purchase Hess. That obviously is a spending, right? That is obviously going to cost money. Okay. Now, Nvidia, just to give you a refresher, Nvidia added about 330 billion in stock market value on Wednesday, a record one-day gain for any company. That is insane. All right, now let's look at Tesla. Why we got a little weakness in Tesla? A Tesla Model S car was in full self-driving mode when it hit and geez, this is not good. When it hit and killed a 28-year-old motorcyclist in the Seattle area. That is not good. Making it at least the second fatal accident involving technology in which Tesla CEO Elon Musk is pinning his hopes. Okay, now we got Boeing. JP Morgan raises target to 235 from 210. MasterCard raises price target from 520 to 526 from 500. Meta raises from 575 from 545. Qualcomm target price of 190. All right, from 177. All right, now we're going to get into upgrades, downgrades. Let's see here. So, this is all why stocks move, okay? Carvana, upgraded. Datadog, upgraded. First Solar, upgraded. Reddit, upgraded. That's why that's moving. All right, good. Downgrades. Etsy, downgrade. Western Digital, a downgrade from a buy to a hold. Interesting, right? Price target changes. Let's do that. Target raised first. Let's do it. I'm only going to talk about stocks that are Striker, target raised. Qualcomm, target raised. Wow, target raised to 250. Okay. Meta, bunch of target raises, a slew of them. I'm not going to go over every one, but I got a slew of them. All right, Lam Research, that's a semi. That's a buy. Target raised to 1,050 from 1,000, even though that's down. Herbalife, target raised. eBay, target raised. Carvana, target raised. Cheesecake Factory, target raised. ARM, target raised to 150. Allstate, target raised. AIG, target raised. Some insurance there. Now, get target lowered here. Let's get target lowered. Let's see. Like I said, I'm only going to talk about MetLife, target lowered. Marriott, target lowered. Wendy's. Nope. I'm out of there. I'm out of there. I'm out of there. All right, let's move on. Let's look at the earnings. All right, let's look at earnings just to see what's in store. All right, so before the open, today was Moderna, Crocs, ConocoPhillips, Wayfair. We already talked about those. Canada Goose. All right, today, big one. Amazon, Intel, Coinbase, DraftKings, Roku, Block, Marathon, Bookings Holdings. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Right? And then Friday before the open, Exxon and Chevron. All right, that's what we got for the earnings. All right, that wraps up that. All right, now we're going to go to daily charts. Very easy to look at the daily charts today. And let's see what happened yesterday, right? Okay. Broke this trend line. Okay. Broke the trend. Now, very easy to see here. Very easy. Look at this right here. Look at those shorts. All in here. Resistance, 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 resistance. Well, then, what do? You gap up, come back to it, and push up. All these shorts had the cover. That's why we moved up, right? And where did we get resistance? The 20-day moving average. No surprise there. Where did we close? This is why I call it my express chart. Okay, the whites are monthlies, the oranges are weeklies. So this is last week's highs, last week's lows. This is last month's highs and lows. So now we're in a new month. So this is July's highs and lows. All right. Interesting, right? We close right there. Now, where are we at now? 553.30, let's call it 553.30, 553.30. Right at the highs of yesterday. That's where we are right now. I would say that's bullish. Okay, bullish. All right, that is nothing but bullish. Now, look at the live look, look at the futures. Okay, let's get rid of that. You can see the same thing in futures. All those sellers were squeezed yesterday. Okay, where do we go? Right to the 20-day simple moving average, and we're holding these higher prices. That is bullish. That is bullish, folks. Okay, now let's go over to the Qs, see what they're doing. So, what did the Qs do? Not one supported the 100-day moving average, two supported the 100-day moving average, and that's the bounce. Boop. Broke the downtrend. The secondary downtrend, you broke it yesterday, and you hit the 50-day moving average as resistance in the Qs. In the Qs. That was resistance. Okay. Where are we at right now? 473.40. 473.40 is the highs of the Qs yesterday. So we're at the highs in the SPY, the highs of the Qs. Very bullish. You need to get over this 50-day moving average. That's about 473.86. You need to get over that. So 474, you get over that. Okay? Now, there's a huge gap right here from about 480 to 474. This is a gap. Do we fill that today? Don't know, but wow. Okay? There's a gap. There's a void there. Okay? Now, let's look at the live look. Live look. Big candle. Buying candle yesterday. Looks like a little doji right now. Look, in the 50-day moving average, resistance right there in the futures. But we're holding to yesterday's prices. Okay? Holding yesterday's prices. You close over the 90-day daily. You didn't touch the 20. That's above us. Okay, so that's what's going on right now in futures. Okay, it's going on the live look at the futures. All right, now we can get into our triple-headed monster. Let's go to that 10-year yield. All right, let's go to that 10-year yield and look at this bond market signaling inflation going down, signaling the Fed cutting rates. Remember I was talking about this level. Remember I said it's got to hold 4.14 yield. Boom, look at that. It's down almost 2%. And look to the left, right at this swing low, right there. That's why we're getting held there. That is 4.04 yield. Okay. People are buying bonds today. 30-year bonds are up 0.85%. Yields are dropping. Okay, um, this is not bad for equities. Okay, right now. Okay, this is lost the support. You're down to this swing low here. Let's see what happens. You still have non-farm payrolls and unemployment tomorrow. Okay, let's look at the second head of this monster, which is the dollar. Now the dollar is getting a little push. It's pushed up now, and you're in this range. You're range bound in the dollar. Even though this was the yen, now we're moving up. Okay, now we're moving up. Remember I told you 50%, 57.6% of the currencies against the dollar is the euro. And my guess is maybe we're getting some weakness in the euro today. Let's check that out. There you go. Pushing down in the euro. Let's see what the yen's doing. The yen's pushing down as well. So that's why you're getting a little love in the dollar, but it's in a range, right? So let's look at our VIX. Let's look at our fear gauge. We are at a 16.13 VIX, and I keep saying it every day. It's 30 days out of fear, the VIX. At 16 VIX is a 1% expected move in the S&P 500. A 1% expected move in the S&P 500 is a 16 VIX. Good volatility for trading. Okay, we're holding above 16. People are still hedging. This isn't ultimate fear, but this is some fear. All right, we're not at 12 down here, 11 when there's complacency. Okay, that's your triple-headed monster. Now, we're going to get right into the main event. Or I like to call the main event is trade scenarios, and we're going to analyze the ES and the NASDAQ futures. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to pull it up for you guys. Boom. There we go. There we go. That is your market profile, buying profile. Okay. Now, let's look at this together. All right. We're going to look at structure. First thing we look at every day is the rolling weeks profile, the composite volume profile. To the left, to the right, right here. So what do we have? We have distribution here. We have value area. Remember, value area is 70% of the trade. And this is all value area down here. Okay, so you got triple distributions going on here. Multiple distributions. Okay. Now, what does the market have to do? The most traded price, let's call it 55.10, this area of the last week. Remember, the composite high volume node was 55.30. Prices all the way up at 55.85. Remember, I said this was the bull bear line. Market came down to it, tested it, and now we're accepting prices above it. That is bullish structure. That does not mean the market can't do this today. If it did, still bullish structure. Okay, price action is a seductress. Okay, it can make you think, oh my God, that we're falling, and it doesn't mean anything because you have to look at structure. You gotta lean on structure, and I get fooled too. So I'm just saying now, when you zoom out and go to structure, oh, okay, this is what's going on. Bulls are in control right now. Now let's talk about yesterday. Look where we came to. This is where I have these on everything I have on my chart is of use to me. This, my folks, right there is the month-to-date VWAP of July. So what that meant at the end of July was you basically hit the volume weighted average price for the month. So for the longest time, sellers were in control. Sellers in control, sellers in control, sellers in control of the month. And yesterday, it just made it like even for the month. Unbelievable. Okay? Unbelievable. That's why the anchored VWAPs are powerful. That's why I use them. Okay? But now we have a new month to date VWAP starting in August. This is also happens to be the week to date, so they're together right now until next week. Okay? They're together right now. Generally, they're separated. Okay? And I already talked about this. We opened up here. This is called an open test drive. We went right down to 55.30, went right down to fill the gap, and then we took off. That was my trade plan. However, I told you the 9:45 and 10 a.m. news, just like today, got in the way. Okay? Now, let's talk about kind of maybe what G-Man said earlier about the tip I gave the other day about new business before old business. Okay? Because there's a nuance that I'm seeing right now. Right now. And let me back up 1 second. Okay? See this volume pushing out here, right? What you want to happen for bulls. The most traded price of the week is down here. I said it's around 55.10. What you want to do is have this move up to here. Okay? You want value to follow price. All right? You want that most traded price of the week to move up here so the market can get a nice foundation there, and it can help it move higher. Okay? Help it move higher. That doesn't guarantee it, but that generally has what the market does. Okay? That's one. I wanted to make that clear. Now, what G-Man was talking about, but that happened exactly like I said, was overnight activity. Now we have overnight activity again to talk about. Here is the open of the overnight. This is the only short activity to this much long activity. Okay? It's roughly 80% net long in the overnight. We're at the upper third of the range. Okay? Setting up for what I talk about, new business before old business. This is the most traded price of the overnight, 55.83. We're right above it. Who do you think is here? Well, overnight longs. Just to explain this again, overnight longs are weak hands. They're not big players. They're weak hands. Okay? So, this is setting up for new business before old business. And you have a confluence here, a weak low, a confluence low, I like to call them. This is yesterday's most traded price, happens to be 55.59. Happens to also be the overnight low. Price in the overnight dipped to it and took off. So you have longs here. Bulls need to defend this price. Bulls need to defend this price. Now, what makes this more powerful is this. Okay? Here is the overnight session from yesterday. Here is the real-time trading hours from the previous day. Not yesterday, the day before. Okay? If you got long here on that low, right? And then the overnight happened and you got paid, and then you held, you got paid yesterday, and now in the overnight you're getting paid again. This is psychological and emotional, what I'm talking about. If you get any kind of pullback, you're probably going to maybe cover a little bit and take some profit. So that's what I'm saying, okay? So this has an opportunity to get faded. And it's not a bearish play. It's just a correction. It's just a correction, okay? So this is a very key level here, 55.58. It represents longs from yesterday that are still in the money. Okay, opens the longs from the overnights that are making money. Okay, now you can see yesterday we almost filled this gap. Only has a little bit left. This does not count. It's overnight activity. You do not count that against filling a gap. Okay, so with all that said, we got, oh, let me talk about this. We got a week high here too. Let's call it 59.56, 55.96 is a week high. Okay, is a week high. Now that could also be a little bull trap, or it could be a breakout point. Now, did I just make that up? Hold on a second. Really don't have a week high here. I don't know what I was looking at. Why was I saying that was a week high? All right, forget about the week high, but we do have the gap that has not been filled yet. Okay, so scratch what I just said about that. Now, what you want these prices to stay up here. You want them to stay up here, okay, for that fade, for that correction. All right, let's get into scenarios. Okay, pretty easy. I can already see what I like. All right, so let's get into ES scenarios, okay? So let's talk about the bull case in futures and ES futures. Let's do it. I already talked about this level. It's very important. That's that 55, 59 level right here. That's the overnight lows. That's yesterday's most traded price. That is your first line of defense for the bulls. So if I'm a bull, okay, all right, let's say the market opens up, it fills the gap, and then people take some profits. Now, again, like I said, most traded price of the overnights here. Those are longs. If you come through that, you're going to correct, and you're going to go at least to here. Now, this is where that new business is the overnight longs will be taken care of and be corrected. This doesn't mean it's bearish, okay? It's taking froth off. And this is where the bulls have to defend this. If it does something like this, higher low, well then, you know what? I want to get long and see how far we can pop this thing. You got a naked VPOC here. That's just an untested most traded price of the week, of the day, 56.11. That would be one of my targets. Okay. Most traded price of the month is up here. You don't see it. It's 56.40. That's the most traded price of the last month. That could be an ultimate target. Not sure about that today. Right? That's what I like. Okay. Now, second to that, if you lose this level, that's a little edge on the bears, but if you drop, let's say, into this demand zone and the 55.30 again, this could be a bear trap as well. If you cannot go under this and establish acceptance and you start getting higher lows, this could just move up to here and move like this for the rest of the day. Okay? That is the bull. Now, talking about bearish. Okay, there is a supply zone right here. So it's now take about in the first portion of my bull scenario, and that could be the bear scenario. Okay, so let's say we fill the gap, make a higher lower highs, and really, if you start getting some little weakness right off the bat, this is very key. The 55.83, the most traded price of the overnight. Those are longs. If you go through that, hold it, you're going to test right here, and this is where bulls have to step up, right? But this is the bear scenario. So if bears take this out and hold, you might test yesterday's lows. Okay, now this is very important. If you take out 55.30, boom, and find acceptance below it, that is very scary for the market. This would be considered a look above and fail, and we're going to go all the way back to the bottom balance, which is about 54.33. That would be huge. In a monumental bear move. Okay? Wow. You always got to have these in there, right? Okay? Now, more conservatively, just to clear this out. The Bulls got to defend this. This is conservative. If you don't want to do this move, well, wait for this one, okay, and then hold. You got a big demands on here, so it's a little cautionary tale here, but you could just take it off here, okay. It's kind of all I'm interested in, okay. Now, let's go to the Nasdaq. I'm really running late here today. I'm going to be quicker with this Nasdaq, okay. All right, Nasdaq's relatively weaker in structure. Okay. Let's look at the profile. Now, you got triple distribution as well, but it's more a balanced profile. Okay. Price is here. Here's yesterday's highs and lows, overnight highs and lows. I don't see the nuance in the setup as great as I did in the ES right off the bat. Okay. Now notice here we're below the midpoint in the Nasdaq. We're right there. So the overnight inventory doesn't mean much when you're in the middle. Okay, that's been kind of taken care of. Even though it is probably 85% net long, that is not the case in the Nasdaq. You don't have that edge. Okay, you don't have it. You still do have a weak low here with yesterday's most traded price at 194.62, but it's not perfect like the ES. Bulls got to defend there. You got a demand zone here. Top of the breakout level is around 193.77. Is this line here? Okay, so bulls have to step up in this area. Okay, you did hit supply from the past, and you have some selling. Okay. Now, there's a big gap above us, all the way from here to here. You did not fill that gap at all yesterday. You came up to it, and it acted as resistance. Okay. So, this is very key. Now, today could be the pullback, and when you rip up through that gap. Top of the gap is 199. Okay, top of the gap is 199. Now we're pulling back right here in the Nasdaq. We're pulling back. Just to let you know, Nvidia is down to 118.40. Was up to 120 before. Okay. Now, let's talk about it real quickly. As I said, we're in the middle of the range. All right, this is also, I didn't probably talk about it in ES, but this is also happens to be the 50% retracement of yesterday, so that's got a bull. So we'll get right into scenarios. I'm getting long here. I got to start doing my prep for the markets. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the bull. Okay, basically this area, this demand zone, it's a big one. I don't usually like it in making them this big, but that's where the bulls have to come in and step up. If the market does something like this here, right to the most traded price, that could be the push up, but you still have all this room. Even right here, like I said, is the breakout level, and you could then move up and maybe fill that gap at 99. Not sure you get that big of a move today. Okay, not sure. We'll have to see. That's about all that I'm interested in. The Nasdaq, it's different. The ES is structurally in a better position than the Nasdaq. Let's talk about the bear. Okay, so right here, I'm very cautious about the Nasdaq because there's a big demand. It's just like I don't really see a great place here. So you'd more like want to be up to this supply. So in a bear's case, even if we come down here, push up into this supply, and then you finally get, and you can't fill the gap. Remember, gap should get filled. If you can't, and it's resistant, that's bearish. You get lower high. Then I think you can fall down to the most traded price, which is 194.62 yesterday. Okay, then you got this big demand zone, which could get a pop, but You really, if it gets real weak, I think you might go down to yesterday's lows. Okay. And what happens today, market really should make this 194.62 the most traded price of the week. If it can do that today, then that's bullish for the market, for the Nasdaq. Okay. That wraps up the Nasdaq. All right. That wraps up my trade scenarios. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed that and it makes sense. If not, ask me a question. Okay. Now, hopefully, you guys join me every day at 8 10 a.m. Today was the exception, 8:25. But you can subscribe, set an alert. That'd be awesome. Give me a thumbs up, a like. That would be much appreciated. Trying to build the channel and trying to get more eyes on this channel. Okay. And you can always follow me on X at Gonzo719. Now, everybody, we got the plan. Be patient. It's Thursday. We got big news tomorrow still. We got big earnings after the close today. Crazy week, crazy, insane week. You got VIX high, so be patient, all right? Everybody, good luck, and I'll see everyone tomorrow.